Have you ever sensed that some people only get more valuable as they get older, as if time itself forges them into something truly extraordinary? It's not about wealth, social status, or luck. Rather, it comes down to certain qualities that shine brighter each passing year. These quiet strengths become more precious than gold, creating a profound impact on everyone around them without ever needing to shout for attention. In this video, we're going to uncover a set of traits that can transform anyone's later years into a phase of life filled with admiration, meaning, and genuine connection. Whether you're already over 65 or simply curious about paving the way for your future, you'll discover how to keep your spirit alive, your presence magnetic, and your legacy enduring. Stay with me, because each section adds a new piece to this puzzle. By the end, you'll have a clear blueprint on how to become quietly more precious than gold as time goes by. Let's begin. Growing older does not mean growing stagnant. In fact, the most quietly compelling individuals are those who refuse to let their sense of wonder fade. These folks realize that curiosity is the antidote to boredom and the secret to remaining vibrant no matter their age. Far too many people believe that once they reach a certain milestone, 65, 75, even 85, they're supposed to settle into predictable routines or cling to long-held perspectives. But the ones who stay sharp, lively, and fascinating never let their curiosity die. Imagine waking up each day with a readiness to learn something new. It could be as simple as reading an article on a topic you know nothing about, chatting with someone from a younger generation about a new trend, or picking up a fresh skill, like trying digital photography or crocheting. When you keep your mind open like this, life continues to unfold in surprising ways. You prevent yourself from slipping into the all-too-common trap of "that's just the way I am," or "this is too complicated." Instead, you discover corners of your mind you never knew existed. Consider a real-world example. Carmen, a 72-year-old grandmother who decided to learn how to play the piano from scratch. She'd never touched an instrument in her life, but had always loved classical music. At first, she struggled with hand coordination and had to practice the same simple scales over and over. Yet, instead of concluding that she was too old for this, she made a routine of practicing every morning for 30 minutes. After a few months, she was playing short tunes. After a couple of years, she was good enough to entertain family gatherings. Carmen's continuous curiosity, her eagerness to keep learning, brought fresh joy into her life and made others see her as someone who truly embodied the spirit of growth. That's the beauty of never-ending learning. It expands your world beyond the boundaries of your immediate surroundings. It also gives you endless conversation topics and connects you with people from all generations. When friends, neighbors, or even strangers hear you talk with genuine interest in something new, they naturally feel intrigued. They realize there's always a spark in your eyes, a readiness to be amazed. This kind of energy is electrifying, especially in a world that often expects seniors to settle for monotony. You might wonder what happens if you fail at something new. The truth is, failure isn't the end. It's evidence that you stepped beyond your comfort zone. Each attempt, whether successful or not, keeps you mentally agile and emotionally youthful. Remember, you can cultivate curiosity at any stage, even if you've convinced yourself you're stuck in your ways. Each time you read about a different culture, watch a documentary on an unfamiliar subject, or engage in a hobby outside your comfort zone, you're fanning the flame of your ever-evolving mind. Life never stops surprising us. Even well into our golden years, unexpected events, both joyous and challenging, continue to appear. Some people weather these moments with panic or frustration, while others approach them with a steady calm that puts everyone at ease. This quiet composure isn't about denying reality. It's about developing the emotional strength to face whatever comes your way without losing your center. Think about the individuals in your circle who seem unruffled no matter the crisis. When family disputes erupt, they listen more than they speak. When financial problems arise, they assess the situation before reacting. When health complications appear, they maintain a sense of practicality and optimism, refusing to spiral into despair. Over time, these calm souls become anchors for their loved ones. They're the ones children and grandchildren turn to for advice. They're the ones neighbors trust when decisions need to be made. Their presence alone is a balm in tense environments. Take Bill, for example. In his early 70s, he faced sudden medical challenges. Instead of letting fear dictate his mood, he focused on gathering facts, exploring his treatment options, and remaining open to advice from healthcare professionals. His grandchildren marveled at his level-headedness. While it's natural to experience anxiety or sadness in tough circumstances, Bill showed that acknowledging these feelings and then responding thoughtfully is far more helpful than giving into panic. Calm confidence also shapes how you interpret everyday irritations. When you choose not to get riled up at minor inconveniences like a delayed appointment, a noisy neighbor, or a device that's giving you trouble, you preserve your energy. You also send a clear message to others. Not everything deserves an emotional meltdown. Over time, people notice your consistency under stress. They come to see you as someone worth listening to, someone whose advice carries weight because it isn't clouded by impulsive reaction. One key to nurturing this calm disposition is learning to pause before responding. Whenever something unexpected happens, take a breath. Silence the urge to blurt out your first thought or feed the flames of panic. By pausing, you allow yourself to assess the reality of the situation. Perhaps the problem isn't as catastrophic as it first appears. Or maybe it's serious, but frantic outbursts won't solve anything. Building that pause into your reactions fosters respect from yourself and from everyone around you. Have you ever encountered someone who instantly made you feel safe, understood, and genuinely welcome? This sort of warmth isn't loud or attention-seeking. It's a soft glow that comforts anyone lucky enough to be near it. Over time, this gentle warmth becomes a hallmark of individuals who are truly treasured. Unlike forced charisma, genuine warmth doesn't require elaborate stories or grand gestures. It emerges in quiet ways. The way you give your full attention when someone speaks, the subtle smile you offer in everyday encounters, the empathy you show when a friend confides in you. Being warm means choosing to see the humanity in others, even in those who might seem difficult at first glance. Consider Rosa, who volunteered in a community center well into her 80s. People of all ages gravitated to her small corner of the room, not because she hosted games or dispensed fancy gifts, but because she truly listened. Teenagers vented about school stress. Adults worried about job security or parenting. Rosa never offered judgment. She asked questions and, if asked for her perspective, calmly shared her ideas. Everyone left her feeling lighter, as if they'd just taken a deep breath of fresh air. That's the magnetism of kindness. You become a source of refuge in a world that sometimes feels harsh. This warmth also extends to little acts of everyday compassion. Opening a door for someone whose hands are full. Remembering details about a neighbor's grandchild who's in college. Sending a thoughtful message to a friend who's been feeling lonely. Small gestures accumulate into a tapestry of kindness that surrounds you. Over time, people associate your presence with comfort and acceptance. Yet, warmth doesn't mean you allow others to step over your boundaries or drain your energy. It's possible to be a gentle, caring soul while also safeguarding your well-being. In fact, balancing kindness with self-preservation only makes your warmth more sustainable. You're able to show genuine interest without burning out or feeling taken advantage of. There's a misconception that being helpful and polite requires you to say yes to everything. In reality, some of the most respected older adults are those who know their limits and aren't afraid to declare them. When you set clear boundaries, you protect your mental energy, your emotional well-being, and the gentle warmth you offer to the world. Boundaries can be straightforward. Maybe you decide that after 8 p.m. you won't answer non-urgent phone calls so you can have a quiet evening to recharge. Perhaps you limit the number of family errands you'll run each week, making it clear that although you love helping, you also need time for yourself. Or maybe you stand firm on how you expect to be treated. No disrespectful comments in your home, no guilt tripping you into commitments you never agreed to. At first, some people may resist these boundaries. Relatives or neighbors who have grown used to your endless availability might act surprised, even annoyed, when you start saying no. This is normal. We often train others to expect certain things from us by repeatedly complying. When we change the rules, they need time to adjust. Stand firm. The people who genuinely care for you will learn to respect the new guidelines. Those who insist on taking advantage of your kindness may drift away. Ultimately, that's a clear sign of who values you for you and who merely wants the benefits of your resources. Take Harold, a retired postal worker who spent years doing endless favors for everyone around him. He rarely turned down requests to help someone move, fix a broken fence, or babysit last minute, even if it disrupted his personal plans. As he got older, the constant demands wore him down. Eventually, he had to set some rules. He began politely declining tasks that exceeded his physical ability. He limited how often he'd drive people around. Once Harold's friends and family recognized his limits, they actually respected him more. They realized that behind his kindness stood a person with his own needs and preferences. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They're about creating a balanced exchange of energy and emotional support. When you protect your own inner peace, you become a more stable, joyful presence for the people you choose to help. Nobody benefits from an exhausted, resentful caretaker or friend. By learning to say no gracefully, you preserve the best parts of yourself for the moments that truly matter. Grandiose life missions aren't required to make your later years meaningful. Often, it's the humble, day-to-day routines that bring the deepest sense of purpose. You might discover joy in tending a small garden, teaching a neighbor's child how to cook, or offering comforting words to someone in distress. When you connect these moments to your sense of identity, you anchor your spirit in purpose. Purpose is not reserved for high-profile careers or grand achievements. It can be as simple as deciding each morning to positively impact one person's day. It can be planning a small project, like repairing a community bench or crocheting scarves for a local charity, and committing to its completion. Purpose thrives on consistency and sincerity. The more you engage in activities that resonate with your core values, the more your life feels steady and impactful. Consider Yvonne, who spent most of her younger years raising a large family. Once her children moved away, she found herself in a quieter house, uncertain how to fill her days. Determined not to let loneliness overtake her, she started a small Reading Buddies program at a local elementary school. Twice a week, she'd read with children who struggled with literacy skills. Over time, she saw their reading levels improve. More importantly, she watched their confidence soar. Yvonne's daily life now had a tangible purpose, making reading fun and accessible for kids who needed a little extra help. Moments of everyday purpose also help us maintain resilience. When tough times strike, be it health issues, financial problems, or personal losses, having a routine that keeps you connected to something meaningful can be a lifeline. Engaging in small, purposeful tasks fights off a sense of helplessness, reminding you that you still have a role to play in this world. This daily sense of purpose also wards off the dangerous myth that once you retire or step back from work, your value plummets. In truth, your worth isn't tied to a paycheck or a job title. It blossoms in every compassionate deed, every piece of wisdom you share, and every moment you choose to dedicate to activities that speak to your heart. By weaving purpose into your daily life, you stand out as someone who is truly alive, someone quietly more precious than gold because you live with intention. Spend enough years on this planet, and you'll notice a pattern. People who endlessly chase external rewards, bigger houses, fancier cars, expensive gadgets, often end up feeling unfulfilled. Meanwhile, those who learn to appreciate the simple joys of life find a deep satisfaction that no amount of money can buy. This sense of contentment is a hallmark of individuals who quietly radiate worth. It's not that achieving success is bad. On the contrary, striving for goals can be healthy and motivating. However, the problem arises when the drive to have more overshadows the ability to find delight in what already exists. Picture two retirees. One is always comparing their home to others, always wanting something newer or better, never satisfied with the present. The other takes pleasure in a well-brewed cup of tea, a neatly kept garden, and a reliable car that doesn't have the latest technology but does its job. Who do you think sleeps more soundly at night? Geraldine, a 69-year-old widow, once lived in a spacious house filled with decor and high-end gadgets. After her husband passed away, she downsized to a modest condo. Initially, she worried about losing the sense of status that came from a large home. But as she settled into her simpler surroundings, she noticed she had more mental space for hobbies and friendships. She took up watercolor painting, grew potted plants on her small balcony, and invited neighbors over for cozy tea sessions. Over time, she realized that those intangible connections and personal interests brought her far more happiness than keeping up with the financial and emotional demands of a bigger lifestyle. Contentment doesn't mean you stop dreaming or aiming for improvements. It simply means you recognize that today holds blessings worth celebrating. Whether it's the laughter of a grandchild, a quiet morning walk, or a satisfying meal, you let these experiences fill your heart without constantly thinking, what's next? When you choose contentment, you carry less envy, less frustration, and less disappointment. You replace them with gratitude. This attitude also influences how others see you. A content individual exudes peace. People gravitate towards someone who isn't constantly on edge, chasing the next big thrill. They sense a spiritual or emotional richness that's unshakable. And guess what? That peaceful demeanor might inspire others to step back from their own frantic pursuits and enjoy the present moment. 2. When you reach a certain stage in life, it's natural to reflect on how you'll be remembered. For many, this sparks a fear that their story might be forgotten. But there's a way to remain precious in the hearts of others long after you're gone, by building a lasting legacy through meaningful contributions to your community. Legacy isn't only about large-scale donations or having a building named after you. Often, it's the smaller, consistent acts of service that weave you into the fabric of a community. Maybe you're the grandparent figure in your neighborhood, handing out candy on holidays and keeping an eye on local kids when they play on the street. Maybe you volunteer at a nearby food pantry every weekend, or you're known at your place of worship for always offering a helping hand. Over time, these small, steady actions define who you are to the people who know you. Consider Manuel, who, after retiring from a lengthy career as an accountant, felt a bit aimless. Instead of settling into a lonely routine, he started offering free weekly classes to adults struggling with household budgeting and personal finance. He didn't earn money from these lessons. He didn't seek praise. He simply found joy in using his skills to ease the financial stress of others. Over time, word spread. People from all walks of life came to Manuel for guidance. His name became synonymous with generosity and wisdom. Now, even after Manuel's passing, the local community center continues these budgeting sessions in his honor, crediting him for lighting that spark. This kind of contribution elevates your sense of purpose and cements your role in a larger story. While some aspects of life may become more challenging as the years stack up, health struggles, reduced mobility, or energy, serving others connects you to a profound source of motivation. You realize that your experiences, insights, and time can uplift families, neighborhoods, and organizations in ways younger generations might not yet be able to. Your presence becomes woven into people's daily lives, ensuring that your memory is carried forward, shining brightly. Moreover, this approach fosters deep relationships. When people see that you genuinely care about the collective good rather than just your own needs, they develop a sincere affection and respect for you. This synergy benefits everyone involved. You find deeper self-worth, and they discover a mentor, role model, or friend who enriches their journey. Take a moment to gather the threads we've explored: a mind that stays curious and hungry for discovery, a calm confidence that steers you through life's chaos, a warmth that makes others feel safe and welcome, the boundaries that protect your peace, a sense of purpose woven into everyday life, the contentment that frees you from perpetual wanting, and a commitment to building a legacy through community. These 7 qualities are not about superficial success. They aren't rooted in big bank accounts, flashy achievements, or a perfectly smooth life with zero hardships. They reflect something deeper: how you choose to live. Each of these traits grows stronger with age when you water them with intention, self-awareness, and a willingness to keep evolving. If you nurture these qualities, you'll discover that respect and admiration flow naturally your way. People will be drawn to your presence, not because you demand it, but because you offer a beacon of insight, kindness, and authenticity in a world that often feels rushed and impersonal. You become more precious than gold because, unlike fleeting trends or passing fashions, your value only increases over time. Remember, these traits don't emerge overnight. They call for daily practice. Start small. Read a book on a topic you've never explored. Take a deep breath before reacting to stress. Show kindness to someone you'd normally overlook. Say no when you've reached your limit. Find a pocket of each day to do something meaningful. Pause to appreciate a simple pleasure. And look for ways to serve others with the gifts you already possess. In each step, you're paving the way to a richly fulfilling chapter in life. Finally, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which of these traits spoke to you the most? Are you already practicing any of them? Do you plan to make adjustments to your routine to deepen your sense of calm, curiosity, or community? Share your experiences in the comments. Let this be an ongoing conversation where we learn from each other's journeys. Thank you for joining me today. Your presence here already shows a desire to grow, reflect, and embrace what truly matters. If you found value in this script, I encourage you to engage, whether that's leaving a comment, sharing with a friend, or simply letting these ideas sink into your heart. Together, we can all learn to be quietly more precious than gold, savoring every season of life with dignity, warmth, and unbreakable spirit.